No, maybe you should.
Okay, I'm starting over. Okay, how do we begin citing and annotating? Let's do this, fam. Okay, remember, again, you should probably cite as you go along. You're gonna have hours of boringness near the end of your project that you don't want to do, because at the end of the project you want to have fun. You don't want to do boring shit. Okay, annotating. You don't have to do that as you go along, because you need to actually know how you're using the resources in your project. So make sure you don't do annotations until you actually know how you're gonna use it. Okay, I better be freaking recording. Okay, citation template. This goes in order from the top to the bottom. So you do the author first, you do the access date last. The author, you definitely want to make sure you do the punctuation correctly. It shows you what kind of punctuation you have to do on the left. The author ends with a period. The first container ends with a comma, so just make sure you're reading it correctly. On the author, the last first at all just means that there's multiple authors, so make sure you're reading that correctly as well. The title of the source, if you cannot find the title of the source, make sure you text me because there probably is one. Title first container, this is just the website that you found it on. So if I'm getting an image on the Library of Congress, it's just it's the website, the first container is the Library of Congress. Other contributors, you're probably not going to use this. However, if you're citing a movie or documentary, you'll generally have a director or something like that. Version and number usually just applies to scholarly journals, so things that you would find on Protest or EBSCO or anything like that. So you're probably not going to be using that a lot, but some people do use some research articles, so just make sure that you're citing it correctly if you do. Publisher, this is whoever owns the website, so if I'm getting an image off the Library of Congress, again, the publisher would be congress.gov. I found this by going to the bottom of the Library of Congress website. Near the copyright date, it says congress.gov. This is the publisher, this is what you would cite. The publication date, so this is very important. Make sure you're doing everything correctly. So for every month except May, you're always going to have the first three letters. So even for July, it'd be JUL dot, and then you have the year. May is the only one, because it's only three letters, it's the only one that you don't have a period after. You can exclude the day and month, but if you can't find a year, text me, because there probably is a year that it was published and you need to know. Okay, location, this is just the URL. Make sure you take out the HTTP part and just start with the www or the plain location, depending on what it gives you. You can also do page number if you're doing a book, depends on what you're citing. And then access date, so it's kind of the same deal as the publication date. It's kind of the same rules. This is just the date that you access the source. So it doesn't change if you access it again. Just keep what the day you originally accessed it. Okay. Template use. Now we're at where we were. That was quick. I speed on that. Okay. Hopefully everyone in the video understood that. For those that are watching the video, I forgot to record. Thank God someone pointed it out earlier, not later. Thank you, Simchi. If you have questions on the video because I was going way too fast, please text me and let me know. I will be happy to answer your questions. Okay, template use. Now we're going to be setting a primary source, a secondary source, and a video source, because video sources are slightly differently cited than others. Okay. So, this is my annotated bit. Okay, so the first primary source that we're going to be citing is off of the Library of Congress. I'm typing really slow because I'm on an angle. I hate this. Okay. Maybe I'm just going to do that because I don't like it. And another thing is Library of Congress takes forever to load. Okay, this is the image that we will be citing. I'm actually using this probably in my project, so that's cool. Okay. So this is a primary image. So if you look at my annotated bib, it'd obviously go under primary sources, images. Okay, so the first thing we have to check for is an author. There is Philip Bond. He's the photographer, so they're under contributor names on Library of Congress. Yay. Love when we have authors. So obviously we do the last name first, and then the first name. is photography is considered a longer piece of work. So, like the names of photographs or paintings are generally italicized rather than in quotations because they're considered longer pieces of work. So, the name of this is long, so I'm just going to copy and paste the title. The title on Library of Congress is generally like both on the top and then it has like a title section down here too. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. Obviously I have to reformat. And then another important thing with NHD is technically under new MLA standards, even if the title of like this, for example, like this is, most of this is not capitalized, for aesthetic purposes, new MLA formats allows you to go back and capitalize titles if you wish to. You don't have to, it's up to you. And the only risk is I don't know if all NHD judges knew that, but assuming they do, and I'm assuming they don't really care. So do what you want. I'm probably gonna go back and capitalize everything unless the judge tells me not to. So it's technically kind of having that on standards. Okay. So then period. Then we need the first container. This is Library of Congress. No, not all caps. Oh, stop it.
Oh, God.
Library of Congress. Okay, obviously we don't have other contributors because there wasn't an editor director transit or anything like that. We don't have a version because this is a photograph, not a scholarly article, stamping for number. We do have a publisher. Like I said, with Library of Congress, it's congress.gov, but we can double check. So down here, by the copyright date, this is their copyright date. I don't know why it's like this, but it's congress.gov down here. You can also, I'm pretty sure you can cite it as the little text under that says United States legislative information. I just go with congress.gov. I don't think they care that hard. So it's really annoying to type like this. Okay, and then we are on the publication date. This is normally on the website. So it says June 1943. So then it would be June. Oh. Yeah. 1943. I'm gonna double check that I got that right. Yeah. Okay, and then URL. So this is literally just copy it up here. Get rid of this part that we talked about, the HTTP key, not Q. I was like, my brain was thinking that thing. LGBTQ. Anyways, my brain is not working today. Okay. And then access date. So obviously that's just the day they literally accessed it. So accessed 7 up to, or no, 5. Oh my god. 5 of July 2022. And then make sure you get rid of the link because you're probably going to be printing these out and you don't want it to look ugly. So just click on it and get rid of the link. There. Perfect. Then you want to look over it to double check that you have everything. So we have the author, we have the title, we have the first container. We don't have any contributors, version or number, so then we have the publisher, we have the publication date, we have the location, and we have the access date. So now it's perfect. And you're done. Unless you want to go back and capitalize, which I will do later, I'm not going to do that right now. Any questions? None? All good? Okay. Now we get to cite a secondary source. This is on ProQuest. From the class link. I've already found these, obviously. I haven't cited them yet. stores. I actually have to create a new section because, yeah. So just give me a second. So this is, I don't even know what to consider this. I think this is like, maybe. We'll just go with it. I'll double check later. I don't know. You might want to make like your own sections too, because I think I would qualify that as a scholarly article, which is probably what I'd prefer to cite it as. But I don't know if you can like create your own sections or not, or if you have to go with what NHG defines it as. I'm not really sure on that, but okay. Gotta make sure I get my spell out here. Okay. Author Carol J. Pierman. I have to double check on this one. No, it doesn't say. Okay. Okay, so with someone that has like their middle initial cited as well, you just do their last name as normal, and then you do their first name and then their middle initial. So it's Pierman, comma, Carol J. Okay. And then I think this one is italicized because it's a research article. In fact, I'm like 99% sure that I'm right on that. So baseball, conduct, and true womanhood. Okay. And then first container, so we found this in ProQuest, or I found this in ProQuest, but for the sake of consistency. Okay, and then other contributors. We don't care. We're not doing that because it's not a movie. It's the only time I'll ever even do that. Version and number, we do have to check for that because this is a research article. And look at that, there is a volume. It's a volume 33. Then number, so I don't know that counts. So I'm pretty sure this is just version 1, so I'm just gonna go with number 1, but I'll probably double check it later. Okay, and then publisher. This is usually on the PDF, but this is like a research article. So this says Woman Studies Quarterly, so that's what I'm going to cite. Okay, and then publication date. It was published in 2005. It just says spring, but obviously that's not a month, so I'm just going to do 2005. And then location, URL. So the important thing with like ProQuest and like these databases to keep in mind is the URL might not always work. So it's good to like copy the URL, paste it. Actually, I'm gonna paste it in a non-school. I'm gonna paste it on my Roblox tab. Okay. So
Did you say Roblox?
I did. So it takes me there, but it doesn't give me the full access if I'm not in my school account. And obviously the judges are going to want access to it. So another thing that you can do is usually there's a DOI. If I press cite, it might be on there. Oh, never mind. Apparently they don't have a DOI. Well. Okay, well never mind. I guess. It's kind of sad. Did it happen down here? Nope. Okay, never mind. We kind of have to go with the URL because they don't give a DOI. Unless this is it. Actually, this might be it.
Oops.
So we're just gonna go with the link, and they're gonna deal with it. Another thing with citing is, so if you have a really long link, it won't wrap like it's supposed to. So generally what I do to fill in this space here is just go and press space until it wraps like that. Sometimes it'll take a few tries. You just have to get the right spacing so that it wraps and it looks nice instead of having an ugly gap. Okay, and then we need the access date, which is obviously today again. Okay, so we're gonna double check that we have everything. So we have the author, we have the title, we have the first container. We don't have contributors, so then we go to volume, number, publisher, publication date, location, and access date. Any questions? No? Okay. Awesome, you guys are wonderful. Okay. Video source. I hate citing these. Okay.
Videos are the least reliable source, correct?
It depends. It depends where you
What if I
find
use
it.
an oversimplified video?
It really
And by the way, I gotta plug my merch.
Okay, so this is what I'm citing. So you can find some primary source stuff on YouTube. You have to make sure that the source is reliable. So this is what I'm citing. It's a video clip of a baseball game between the league that I'm doing my project about. And the reason I know it's a reliable video is because it comes from the Louis Pettis archives at Winthrop University. Now it's always good to do backup and make sure that they are actually who they say they are, which I haven't done, but I'm just gonna assume. Okay, it's always good to do that though. Okay. Okay. So, with videos, I'm literally just, I don't know, I think this would be considered a primary source, I'm just gonna go with it, because it's technically from an archive. Okay. I'm gonna call this videos, but I'll probably give it like a better name later on. Okay, so, okay, so basically, there's not generally, like, if you're sending a video, there's not always going to be an author. Like, on YouTube, like, you would think the author would be this, but we actually have a different section for that. So I'm just going to start with the title.
What? There's no way that's actually called that. Hold up. Sure, right. Almost. That's not right.
Okay, we got the title. Now we go to first container, which is YouTube.
The website is called the Nobel Prize.
There's this Nobel Prize.
Yes, the name is Nobel Prize. But need this outreach team.
Guys.
No, that's the publisher though.
Yes, we need that.
You don't need the publisher.
No, the public. Oh, you skipped the container.
You just wait.
There's a
version's done, and then we can. Yeah, we can help you when it's done.
That's why I was trying not to interrupt your class. I was asking some sheet about you.
Hi. It's me.
Okay, so we got the title, the container is YouTube. We don't have, well, actually, so, the interesting thing is, normally you don't have other contributors, but when you're citing something like a YouTube video, or like something on Giphy Images, you always have to credit the person that uploaded it. So like on YouTube, you have to credit the channel that uploaded it. So you would say, posted by, and then the name of the channel, which is Louis Pettis. That's right, Louis Pettis. Louis Pettis Archives at Winthrop University. This is such a fun game. Okay. Like that is so fun to say.
Ha ha ha.
I hate you. Like, just take it in. Just take it in. Louis Petis Archives at Winthrop University. I love that name. Just everything about that.
Get it right.
Throat is funnier. Okay, and then obviously there's a comma. And then we don't have a verse or number because this isn't a scholarly article. So for the publisher's videos, it's usually just like whoever holds the material, which would be the same thing that we already put for posted by. So okay, and then publication date. Okay, let me just give me a second. I need to go back to my other annotated bib and make sure I'm doing this right. Because citing videos is literally a pain in the ass. Is that guy that just walked in have white dreads? That guy that Pizza Hut thing?
He's white. It's good.
So don't say my name, please. Okay.
He left.
You left? Okay. I'm back. It's like I can't tell if that was my dad or not.
Who is this?
I can't tell if it's him or not. I'm just gonna go with it's not. Yeah, please do a giant wave around the room. That will help. Okay. Okay. YouTube posted by. So then you do the date that the video was posted, not like on YouTube, not the day that it was actually recorded. So that's August 1st, 2017. And then you do a period. And then you do the publisher, which is the same thing. I'm gonna shorten it though, so I'm gonna go with the Louis Petis. Petis Archives. And then the publisher, and then we need the date of when taking place. It just says 1949, so we're gonna go with that. 1949. And then we need the link. Obviously. This feels really complicated. Like, I don't know for sure if this is the correct way to do it, but this is how she told me to do it in,
It's good.
yeah, she told me to do it this way in AP seminars, so I'm probably gonna double check with
guys were just like staring at me. I felt like.
Nah.
Okay.
It's for the life of the party.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go over again what we did so you two can see. Because citing videos is hard. Okay, so you have the title in quotation marks. You have you have, if it's on YouTube, you do YouTube in italics. Please pay attention.
Oh, why is it so watery? What is this?
I don't know. Maybe shit got.
That is not. That is horrible.
You have to mix it up.
Please pay attention.
Okay, pay attention, dude.
How much was it? Like $3.
Well, that part explains it. Now please pay attention.
Okay, look at this.
Okay.
This is awful.
Okay. Title of video quotation marks. The title of the video was the AAGBL roster pieces versus the Peoria Red Wings in 1949. So that's what I put in quotations. And then his first container, I found this on YouTube, so it's YouTube. And then with videos like this, you have to because you go to other contributors, you have to credit the person that uploaded it. So it was posted by the Louis Peters Archives at Winthrop University, so that's what I did. And then you have to put the date that it was actually posted. So the date that it was posted was August 1st in 2017, and then you put a period. Now you go on to the second part of the citation, which is the actual video itself. So then you have to go with the actual publisher, which is the Louis Peters Archives. I just shortened it. It's the same thing as who published it for this particular thing. So in a different example, I found something on a Green Project YouTube video. So it was posted by Green Project or whatever, but the publisher was CBS News because that's where the video came from. It's confusing. If you guys need help setting videos, just let me know. And then you have to go with the date that that the video is from. So it was posted in 2017, but the video comes from 1949. And then after that, you do a comma.
That's weird.
Yeah. And then you do the link and then the actual state. So it is really, really, really hard correctly setting videos. And even this citation, I'm gonna quick double check with Hearst later on. But if you need help setting videos, I'm totally okay helping you with it. I don't mind it at all. I just want you to make sure, I want to make sure that you guys have it correct. So I'll help you get through it if you need it.
Are we gonna be making editing?
What? Well, I don't remember what time to just focus on it.
Guys, I don't know this yesterday. I watched Carl on
Waiting on this really fun.
Okay, I will wait for it.
It's iffy.
It's kinda good. I mean, I eat oatmeal like everyone.
I was gonna say, I ate oatmeal this morning, so I made good oatmeal.
Was it worth the money?
No.
Alright, ready for this?
Welcome back to Melon Be Smelling, and today Melon will be smelling a pig. Melon does not like what she be smelling. Now Finn will get a sniffle.
I want to go see out.
Finn disapproves of the...
That's so bad.
Welcome back to Melon Be Smelling, and today Melon will be smelling a pig. Melon does not like what she be smelling. Now Finn will get a sniffle. Finn disapproves of the...
It should have started with that one and ended with the other one that would be funnier. But yeah, that was pretty funny.
I did not crack a laugh.
You say so.
Yeah, they used water on the beef there.
What? Oh, for the oatmeal. Yeah.
You think that's
I cracked it open and there's no pistachio in it.
I texted
And I got pissed off.
I texted Lena and I was like, are y'all coming to the meeting? And they're like, when? And I'm like, it started an hour ago.
Were they in an HD?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Lena We're just gonna be talking about how bad our teacher was.
Say I didn't
Wait,
quit.
can we just use a...
What?
Yeah, she literally said, she was like, I'm gonna do it. Remember pre-college? She was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
No, like this year.
And then she was like, actually, no, I'm gonna do it. And,
Wait,
Dude,
can
I thought
just
I had
use-
four AP classes.
Can't I just use an MLA generator?
you
Yeah,
can, but it'll probably be
Correct.
incorrect.
I mean, it's not that bad.
I mean, which one is like...
I used crazy seminar when I got mine.
It's like triple check it.
Yeah, but
You're
So
probably
then I'll
not
find out.
Wait, so for waiting,
Yes.
Sanjeev said this was awful, and I don't know why.
I didn't say awful. I said there was one
Well,
thing
what's
wrong
wrong
with
with it then?
Well, I don't remember this word.
okay, there's so many things to
Oh
fix.
my god. You have to capitalize stuff. You have
Okay,
to.
come here, come here.
That's tough. No, this.
Alright, everyone come here. Everyone, I'm gonna fix the citation. This is a good...
Dude, you don't even have the author there.
There is no author, okay? There's like a bunch.
Okay, but no. Or like four.
Oh.
No.
Well,
Yeah, there's actually
if there's no
no
author, then. Right there. Oh, I see what you did. You just copied and pasted it.
Some of it.
It's MLA 8 format, not MLA.
That's why I had to change it up.
Okay, there is no option.
How
You
do
just
you
write
make
it down.
internationals? I don't
It's
know.
like practice.
This looks really
It's
smart
like
though. Like
really
this
small.
is an example of something you might want to capitalize the title in. It looks kind of bad. Okay, so you got.
Yeah, but he made it. You did.
Just, we're gonna go on.
Hold on.
Sorry.
So with the title, he's right. There is no author. So then you would go to the title, and the title was technically correct. However, I would capitalize life and work. It looks better. And then you go.
Italicize the word.
Okay.
Think you're mad.
And then we go to first container, which is the Nobel Prize. However, as not Sanjeev. Oh my God.
What?
Yeah, Andrew. Oh my God.
Andrew.
Yeah, as Andrew said, this needs to be italicized.
Oh, well, I should probably get the same, but.
Yeah, maybe you should have been.
No, this is why I'm learning though.
Come on,
Like,
Dane.
This
it's
is
an
why I
example.
spent like 10 minutes on one citation.
It's an example
It's-
for the class.
This is why you should just be following the Tizzy
You are the example of what not to do.
italicized.
You should point that
In
out.
all
in the thing,
cases.
though.
How did this man get the national?
It is pointed
I
out.
don't know.
Well, like, okay, that
I'm not the one that made
italicization.
this.
Oh, I don't, okay.
This is what you're gonna be using for your seminar, so good luck. Okay.
You're not cheating
Got
on
this, man.
us.
And
Are
there
you taking Really? Yeah.
and he is right, there is no other contributor, there is no
We're
person,
all
there is no
in the
number.
capstone program.
Okay, the publisher.
Let's go finishing it and you guys just spend it.
The publisher.
That's kind of cool.
This is.
Oh, that is a publisher. You did get it right.
See, Sanjeev.
Well, you didn't get any of it right. Oh, like almost nothing.
So with this. You could probably get rid of the AV 2022 part. It's
Is
just,
that part of the publisher though?
No.
no, this in itself is a publisher.
What's the AD?
I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
AD. No, you don't need the AD part, but I don't think you need 2022 either, because that's just a year.
Well, yeah, that's
So you
just
wouldn't
a
have to
year.
include it, yeah.
You definitely don't need the year.
That's like copyright.
Where are the capital letters?
I was gonna make a joke. Okay, so
Make it.
publication date. Generally, in English, we capitalize the months.
Hey,
That's
that's
good.
why I'm still in school, okay? I'm learning.
I think that's something we should have learned like a long time ago.
You think I pay attention in
I
class?
don't know how you're a sophomore. How did he not?
Nick will have an A in my mark.
But he
What?
used my trick.
Yep, I did.
He
Wait,
did. He
remember that
remembered
one?
one
Yep.
thing. He
Let's
remembered
go.
one thing. I'm gonna show the people on the screen so that they know too.
Wait,
So-
what'd you get on the...
If you-
research? The test?
Okay.
Like, the
No,
assessment test?
no.
The research?
No,
English.
yes.
Yeah, the...
They don't tell you.
No, for the semester
You can
test.
actually get into it.
Okay.
Can you still have
Nora, have you started creating your
campus, you go with
Everyone be
Wow.
quiet. I'm talking to the people on the video. Okay, so as you see, everyone on this page that Nate was looking at, there is no publication publication date that you can see. However, if you right click and you go to, I don't even remember,
Inspect.
Yeah, something like that.
where do you even find that?
My computer's different. Dark move.
The computer, how different
That.
can it be?
View page source.
View pages. Okay, normally you would just view page source, but it is not working. God damn it. What if I go on my Roblox page?
Enough with your Roblox account.
Okay, if I
I'm not
go,
playing Fleet during the meeting.
sorry, if I go on a non-school account, I can do it so you right click, go to view page source, and then if you do Control F or just search and type in publish, it'll say date published generally, and here it says March 13th of 2015, and that's how he found it. So that's really good to use if it's not on the page. If you can't find it that way, then it's probably not there, but still text me. Okay. And then, oh shoot. Okay. So then he has that. So then he needs the location. However, Nate, come here. Again, if you have been following the little cheat sheet, you would be honest. But you want to get rid of the HTTPS part. Five times now, but it's okay.
Also, we talked about it so much last year.
Yeah, did everyone not do it?
That's
I never did it.
It was not that long ago.
Quite a long time ago.
Nationals was like, not, it was like 2 weeks.
4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No.
It was longer ago for us than it was for you. So.
Right, you didn't get into nationals? Ooh, no.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Oh no!
What happened?
That's what I was talking about.
What happened?
I was literally going these cookies and you can see that.
What happened?
The abscess bar is not in quotations.
But it literally is though.
On there, yeah, but you don't literally do that. Don't literally do that. Everything else is fine except for generally again. Capitalized fonts. No, that is
I
good.
feel lied to, okay?
That is
It
good.
literally has it on the cheat sheet.
No, that is good. That is a good
Why?
citation.
Why is there quotations?
I'm sorry. It's supposed to be
That
an
one
example.
Yeah, why is there a apostrophe?
Not apostrophe.
Oh, sorry, what did
I'm gonna
That's
ruin
stupid.
it.
That's basically lying to me.
Anyways. go
Nate,
on your- go
Nate,
on
unless
your
you pass your English class with an A, I don't think they're gonna listen to you.
Okay.
Hey, what are you talking about?
Did he pass with
You
that?
did? Yes, I did. I have proof, okay? I
You
can
did?
show you.
Show it.
Yeah, I'm correct.
Pull it up.
No,
I need to
Kennedy,
see
don't
this.
egg them on. We have things to do. Okay, we're supposed to be done now, but we're not. Okay. Formatting. So you want to begin with your title page. If you go in the NHT rulebook, which is online, make sure you're in the 2021. Page 19 shows the different title pages for your different projects. So for the documentary one, I can show you what it looks like. So you can kind of like customize it yourself. So what you don't have to center it on the page. That's just what I've decided to do.
You're wrong, Nate, way too much.
Yeah, I know. But you can kind of customize it as long as it's a readable font. That's fine. You can space it however you want. It could be double spaced. It can be single spaced. You can have a bunch of spaces in between. This. It really doesn't matter. Just make sure it looks good, basically. And yeah. So for a documentary, this might not apply to yours. So make sure you look at the rulebook. But for a documentary, you have your title, and then your name, what division you're in. So what division you're in, it'll be like senior division, and then what kind of project. So individual documentary. So you have to make sure you're saying group or individual. If you have a paper, I'm pretty sure you just say research paper or something like that. Historical paper. And then process paper, and then after that, like you just do your process paper, and then under that is the words. That's how they want it. So just make sure you look at the rule book, and then you'll see what kind of title page you have to have. I would just do that now so you don't forget. And then you definitely, like, first of all, you want to have the top named as annotated bibliography, right? Like I'm not. You'd name it annotated bibliography, yeah. And then you want to split it into primary and secondary sources for sure. Okay, that you don't have an option on that. You have to split it up. So that's how I did it. You can kind of format that how you want it to. Like it doesn't have to be bolded. It can all be the same size. Just again, make sure it's readable and organized. For the judge is plural. And you can also, like we kind of talked about before, split it up into sections like this. So, I mean, there's like better sections besides videos that you can do. Like, I might rename this to media or something, but yeah. And yeah, and just make sure that like your secondary and primary sources are like accurate citation, whatever. Readable font, like I said, any spacing is fine. I think they kind of prefer single spaced just because it makes the citations look better. Or it makes it look like you have, it makes it look like you're not trying to make it seem like you have more sources than you actually have.
Would it make the spacing look awkward if it was double sided?
I mean, it's really
That's
up to
what
you.
I do. It looks so dumb.
It
That's
does.
what I have to do because like my whole paper.
It looks like you
Yeah.
have like two spaces.
Well, with the papers generally do double space just because they want to be consistent with their papers, which have to be double spaced. But like for other projects, they generally don't do that. So it's completely up to you, though. It really doesn't matter. Okay, hanging indentation. This is very important. This is the only correct way to do an annotated bibliography. So as you can see with all of my citations, the citation starts on the leftmost, and then every line after that wraps half an inch. So how you do this is if I have this citation, right, and it's not formatted, I go to the beginning of the citation here, I take this arrow to 0.5, and I take the little rectangle on top of the arrow back to 0, and then it has a hanging indentation, and you want to make sure that they all have that. However, when you get to annotations, let's say this is my annotation. It's a really good one. Okay, so obviously you don't want it wrapped like that. So you want to go back, make sure it's like that. And then for annotations like this, you just want the whole arrow to be like that. So you want it right. That's correct. Like if the annotation, you want it lined up with the wrapped parts.
You can probably just hit extra tab.
Well, it's also just like,
Why are you
take the arrow to 0.5. So then it's lined up like that. Yeah, okay. And make sure everything is in alphabetical order. Who forgot to do that last year? Kennedy and Abby. And on our way to register for regionals, which we had 1 hour to do and 20 minutes to drive, I was sitting in the back seat alphabetizing it for them, which is, by the way, against the rules.
They qualified, didn't they?
So it doesn't matter. Like,
What?
They qualified, didn't they?
we
They-
got to state.
They got to state, and they were,
And then we got third at state.
yeah, which is, I mean, alternative, so that's not
It was
bad.
good for us being the smallest group.
How many
It's
were
good.
there?
It's like good.
How many
Like,
exhibits were there? Oh no, sorry, not exhibits, but
I think it was like 6.
6.
5.
We were all 5 group. We were also
Pretty
the
good.
one with the smallest group.
You scored in the top 50%. Nice job.
Everyone got at least third last year, which wasn't bad. So,
We should all try to make it to
Was it
yeah, because then I'm not just taking people to BC for no reason. That'd be nice. Though, I don't think it's even possible for individual documentaries, because there's so many of us, some of us aren't going to make it. But
Maybe some people should do group ones.
Some of you guys, some of the
maybe
ones would make
maybe
it
some people should do a group documentary.
They are
And yet again, I asked, why can't we do 2? Why can't we do 2? One group, one. You know?
That'd be even more.
What if all of us did paper?
No, no, please don't.
You're gonna
Please don't.
kill Sammy.
Oh, what?
Yeah, what if we just made one really big group?
What if we lost to
Yeah,
somebody
you
who
can't-
just
you
had
can't
like
more than
one
5
person?
people. Please don't do paper.
Well, okay, what about one whole group for documentary?
You could do 5. Like, if you do
A 5-person group? There was a
It'd be awful,
4-person
but-
group in my middle school that did it, and it was hectic as hell.
There was a 5 group. 5 groups.
Listen, if it was a a 5-person group,
I don't even
procrastination would be your main problem.
How do you even do that? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely do not.
God, I'd struggle with one other person, let alone.
You guys should really do a group documentary and just sleep over after runs. And just work on stuff.
Runs?
Yeah, I don't know how much you guys like hanging out.
No, like during the school year.
Spend the day together.
What time do you guys start running? 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
I was talking about the
I
school
see you
year
at the
though.
school sometimes. On Fridays.
Who would want to get school right
What, so are we finished?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So, back. In text citations, please turn your handy dandy little sheets to the other side. Okay. In text citations are just ways to cite something in your project. Because, like, for example, on an exhibit, you can't just have an image on there and not have it cited on your exhibit. Like, even if you have it cited in your annotated bibliography, you still need it cited where it is as well.
Is those the source credit?
Yeah. So, like, and this only goes for some things. Like, it's usually just images and quotes that they want this for. Like, information, you don't need to cite that on your board, because obviously, like, they're not going to make you have all 100 of your sources on your exhibit board, right? Like, it's just your images and quotes that you use in text citations for. Okay. So method 1 is, I can't say this, parenthetical? Parenthetical? I was close. Okay.
Oh, you said it right.
This is best for like written credits, so it's mostly used for papers, websites, and exhibits to save word count. Method 2 is integrated citation. This is best for spoken credits, usually used in performances and documentaries as a way to give credit to quotes or pictures for or on props without having ugly words on your screen. Okay, or on your props. Okay, so for example, I was gonna write these out, but there's no point. So like for a paper, like I know both of these two would say like according to this person or whatever, and then they would say the quote, and then that would be like a written parenthetical whatever citation. And exhibits, this is like putting the source credit below your images. Or wait, no it's not. No it's not, actually that's incorrect. So like for exhibits, if they're like according to Franklin Roosevelt, and then they say a quote or anything like that. Or like if Nate used quite a few quotes in his documentary. Or wait, no, I'm so tired. Wait, what am I saying? Okay. No.
You need to sleep.
I do need to sleep. Okay. Wait. Okay, so I get it now. Parenthetical citation. So this is still used for written stuff. I am correct. So like, I don't know. There's examples on there. Like I don't know. Do you guys understand it? Yeah. I don't have to keep explaining it. I think everyone in the video will understand once they get their sheet of paper, so I'm not going. I'm done. I'm done. I'm just too tired. But yeah, so just keep in mind what kind of project you're doing and what kind of citation is best. Yeah. Okay. And now we get to annotations. This is our last part, so please focus. And take notes.
On our NHD quick tip number 3 on annotated bibliographies. Before we get started on annotated bibliographies, we need to check the rulebook. So if you haven't heard, NHD issued a new rulebook in June of 2020, and it basically just updates our rules and clarifies some things for teachers and students. So if you haven't checked it out yet, follow me over to nhd.org/rules. This will bring you directly to a PDF copy of our new rulebook. So we're going to first look at what the rulebook says about annotated bibliographies. So Rule 19 deals specifically with annotated bibliographies, and you can find Rule 19 on pages 19 and 20 in the NHD contest rulebook. So So this breaks down what NHD requires for an annotated bibliography. So make sure that you check those out. Also, if you scroll on to page 20, you'll see information about what an annotation should provide, how long that annotation should be, and what it should explain. So don't forget, before you start working on your annotated bibliography, to read through pages 19 and 20 on annotated bibliographies in the NHD contest rulebook. And in this one, we're going to talk about that really key word, annotated. So we need to start with the first question. What is an annotation? So an annotation is an explanation and an evaluation of the source that you used in your NHD project. And because of that, it has two key components. You need to explain what the source is, and then you need to evaluate it. So that means answering those really big questions of how and why. How and why are really big questions in our NHD projects, especially when we're thinking about historical significance or why it's important to history. But when you're writing your evaluations, how and why are really key questions to be asking of your sources as well. So here's a couple of quick tips that you should be thinking about when you're writing your annotations for your annotated bibliography. You want to start out by answering a couple of questions. So the first question is the easiest one. What type of source is this? Is it a book? Is it an article? Or if it's a primary source, is it a letter? Is it a manuscript collection? Is it a photograph collection, right? This doesn't need to be extensive, but you need to clue the reader in to what type of source you're using. The next question that you need to consider in your annotation is, how was this source used? It's not just enough that you put it in your exhibit or your documentary or you talk about it in your paper. You need to think about how you used it. What is it adding to your NHD project? That third prompt of I used this source too relates to how did the source help you to understand your topic. So in this case, you want to think about what details you've learned from the source that you're working with. And it could be that it's helping you learn about a specific individual or a specific time period in history. And you want to know what details you were able to figure out from reading that source and how they shaped your NHD project. So for example, if your project is on changing politics in the 1890s, you need to explore the different political platforms. You might have to look into muckrakers and progressives in order to really understand the larger political world of the 1890s. So that's what you want to explain to the reader. Now that you've got all of your questions and your prompts set up, the next thing we're going to do is walk through a really quick example. All right, so we've got our questions, we've got our prompts, and...
Okay, I just feel the need to say that I'm not going to go over further examples because you can always look up examples of good annotations and winning projects online. So if you're looking for examples right now, definitely pay attention to this part, get closer if you want to. I'm not doing like the drill that we did last year because you guys can just look up good annotations on your own. And definitely focus on good grammar in your annotations. Neat.
Make it simple in the beginning. Draft out using those prompts. So, this source is a biography on Theodore Roosevelt. I used this source because it gave me details on Roosevelt's political position in the 1890s. I used this source to explore how Roosevelt chose to argue for American expansionism and why. So, you've got a draft there. And it's a good draft. It answers all of the questions. But the next question that you need to ask is, if I'm an NHD judge or someone viewing my project, could I understand what I learned from this source? And so what you may need to do is flesh out your annotation a little and just edit it, right? Make it a little less clunky. And here's what you might come up with in the end. This biography of Theodore Roosevelt helped me to understand how Roosevelt used specific arguments for American expansionism, including the growth of U.S. foreign policy and the U.S. military. It gave me details regarding the larger political dynamics of the 1890s and how they not only shaped Roosevelt's own political platform, but American government overall. So they essentially do the same thing, but that final version gives a little more information, right? It susses out a little bit of what Roosevelt's specific arguments are and how those are helpful for you to know for your project, but it also explains about those details and why they're important to your topic. Hopefully this helps you write your annotations for your NHD project.
Okay, do research.
We're done?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Hey everyone, so today